Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
I'll try to prepare before we continue with this. Let's create a new process. Let's just name it Start. Today we look at connectors basically. Connectors are something which we use when we are trying to connect to different applications, be it source, target, or some lookup that we are performing. The shapes which we use for that are called connectors in Boomi. Essentially, it has three parts to it. One is your connection part, where you give the credits, URL, everything. Second is your action part, where you assign it to your method. What kind of action you want to perform? Is it something like GET post or is it just something like PUT? All these kind of operations. It is where you retrieve data, set filters on it, these kind of things. A connector has these three action items which we need to take care of. If I take example of a simple SAP connector, you would see it has this connection part where if I just click on this, it would allow me to give in these details. Again, it can be like all this information, different connection types. You would receive all your information from your source application team. It is basic information that you need to provide your server, your username, password. And then different applications have different types of authentication available. All those information would be shared with you. That is about the connection. Then we have the action part. If we want to receive the data or send it to the SAP systems. That is about the action part on this one. Then we have the operation. If we click on import operation, usually we would have this feature for our connectors where we will have to select our server using which we want to run this operation and everything. We will choose our connection here, the application we want to connect to, and there it will list down all the objects available under it, and we will be able to connect to SAP system. It will return us the output profile. We will not deep dive into all this for now. Just get you some brief understanding about the connectors. Similarly, we have many integrations which are file-based integrations. Basically, we need to pick up file from a STP server or somewhere because a lot of applications, they generate reports, integrations are used for that. We have to pick up, like different kind of reports and they place it in file servers basically. We either use FTP or FTP V2. V2 is an enhanced version, nothing else. If you look at your regular STP connector again, it would have the same functionality. Connection, you give your host port username, password. If they have SH options, you would rather use SH to configure this. All these details, you don't need to worry. You just need to inform your team, your source team or target team. Since you have asked for like this kind of security option, give us these details. It is their duty to provide you this information. Now again, it has similar something. Get send these kind of actions. And again, operation. In STP action, it allows you to, once you know you fetch the file, you can either delete it or move it to another folder. It will tell you, like you know where you want to archive your file for audit trail purposes. We usually go with get and move instead of delete. That in case of future, any like production issues or something we can easily figure out, like if any file has failed, we can reprocess it or something. All these kind of features are offered. File filter using Y-cut expression like here. Let's say we use the option get and move, retrieve and move, or get or delete. Let's say while retrieving it, there was an error, we encountered an error. How does this handle that? Will it remove the file while we are retrieving and we face the error, or how will it react? It will only delete it or move it after your operation is successfully completed. You have received the file in moving. If something breaks in between, it would not perform this action yet. The second action will only be performed once the first action is complete. It's not a simultaneous action. Once boom, he has properly retrieved the file, only then it performs the other action. Does it do, let's say there are multiple files. Does it do file by file basis or in a batch basis that I have retrieved all the files and then I am going to remove it? It can perform that in the batch only. In your file filter, you will be passing wildcard expression basically. If I show you about the SFTP connector, it will allow you to retrieve it in batches unless use this proper name, then only you can retrieve a single file. Otherwise, it will fetch everything for you. Let me just show you how it will look. See, it allows this basically staff and asterisk and question mark basically, and maximum files to read at one time. You can set up all this kind of information. It will allow you for that kind of control. Got. Thank you. Do you guys remember I told you about this tracking field? Document tracking, basically just for our logging purpose and all. Once we have, added the any particular field, I can simply say file name, something like this. Now I can track this field here under track fields. That whenever in my log view, if I can check the file name. Let me just refresh it. We see tracking. If I click on file name field values, it will allow me to read the file name. I love to configure it like this, something like this. Let me explain what I'm trying to do. If suppose we are retrieving 10 files and in our logs we want to see the name of the 10 files, by default, boom, we will not show us anything. It is, a, it is for us to define every single step of what we want to achieve. What I did was first added this file name and tracking fields. Then I came to tracking part in the operation. I added the tracking field name, file name. Now what kind of value I want to add in it? I told you about these 4 properties. Document property, dynamic document property, dynamic process property, process property. Document property was at connector level. I chose a connector, and what is our connector type here? SFTP, and kind of the properties that are predefined and available is file name. I clicked on. Now it will track all the file names that are coming in. We can set all this kind of information. Similarly, if we use now, let's explain it like this. Again, majority integrations are with these kinds of applications next to it. Salesforce, SAP, Shopify, Oracle systems. There is an offerings by Amazon. Initially, we did not have these. Recently, it has come in like last 2 to 3 years. Before it was. Just we used to do it using HTTP connectors. Now we have different connectors available to connect to different applications. Majority of the applications in the market, major applications are available here. There could be cases where you do not have your connector out of the box. But what you receive from your application team is an endpoint, REST endpoint. Like, something like HTTPS URL, something like this. If you just say HTTPS platform or go to Mecum, you have a REST endpoint from your application team and they've given you credits. In that case, you can use HTTP connector, where you'll have to configure everything yourself. Connection, you give your URL. You can choose the authentication type. They are provided you basic or 2 point anything. Grant type, client credentials. Then you enter the client ID, client secret scope access token URL. You can add all this information. If it is certificate based, you can do all this. If they have the connection timeout and all this configuration, you can configure this. Otherwise, skip all this. Just set up the basic connection first. Once it is in again, similarly action gets sent. Then in the operation, you can select type of profile you're trying to import, XML or JSON. They will provide you sample file. You can add it from here like this. Again, your response profile, which is the acknowledge, which is your data file. Then similarly, your content type, what it will be, HTTP methods, get post for delete, all these kind of actions. Basically, you can perform on it. That is the information about all this for now. Let's take an example. Let's continue with this just for now. You save this. Now in your parameters, this comes. The parameters option comes in handy. Now suppose you have set up your connection like this. How will you retrieve data? Basically like what kind of filter you will set for retrieval. Because if you're just simply running, your integration every day, it might fetch you everything that is available. You want to restrict the data that you are fetching, like is based on some time filter. Since your integration ran yesterday, only changes after that, all that kind of thing. You want to just fetch the data changed record. You do that using parameters option, where you can. Just in this case, we can set up our file filter here essentially. Let's talk about this one first. Here you can simply type in your file filter. You can give it like this. Whatever your, file name. Suppose it is employees and they have, a date filter. You can give star star per date month. Just one star would suffice. Says we file. It is that it ensures it only picks up this format file, nothing else. This way, you can control this filter. Now again another thing, instead of setting up as static, you can make it more modular by setting up in a process property that when you deploy your integration and everything. In later, in future they are changing a value. You don't need to come back, open up your integration, do the changes and go through whole deployment on that process. You can simply go to your atom management. In your environment. Here, environment extensions, you will be able to select your process. We'll see all this information in your data, and from your process properties, you will see that name, your file filter. There you can edit that information basically. Simply, you don't need to, redeploy or touch your integration and again, just for a file name change. That is its use case of parameters. That is about this. Similarly, we have like mail connectors, which we also use widely for sending up our mail alerts. Again, we will have to give your connection details about your mail server in your operation. Let's send it to send because majorly we'll be sending it. Send here, you can leave all these options blank. Do not enter anything. Usually avoid entering in your operation here whenever possible. If you want to send as an attachment or inline, you can select that type of language text, plain text to HTML. If you say, let's just keep it simple for now, once this is set, That is strange. No worries. We look at it from here. Let's create it like this. Just for explanation purpose, we go here. We will choose our connector mail. Now since it is connected, we can configure all these values for it. Body. We can give no mail body. Whatever the error message that came in, we can select it using current data. Then again you go back. You have to add all these properties. Chrome address. You can add it here. Like this, you can perform all these actions essentially. That is how you control it. Any questions for? I'll take that as a no then. For now, that was the, basic information about connectors and everything. Now let's get back into, practicing here essentially our basic Boomi data transformations and everything for now. We just close all this. Now as yesterday, we have configured this file. Now I simply want to perform an action on my file. I want to check, if any of the employee IDs is a, let's perform a simple check. First for salary. If any employee has a salary above 70,000 or not. I just want to filter them across two parts. If I simply use a decision shape, there is a restriction on it. Now let me show you what the restriction is, what it is going to do. If I take this, I take this. I put up a stop shape here. I simply take salad. First value, I would choose my profile element. Here I would go in the parameter value. I'll choose profile element. What profile it is? It was a flat file, CSV file. I'll select my CSV file. I'll choose the element through it. Self. I want it to be greater than second value. It should be greater than 70,000. I'll enter that. Now this will perform a check if salary is greater than 70,000 or not. If I save it and if I just click on test, let's see what happens. Ideally, some of it should have gone to false. Because if we see the data, there were some records which had salary, less than 70,000 like this. Jane Smith, Alice Brown or Emma Wilson. They should have gone here. That is the restriction with decision shape. It is used only for comparing single line of value. Essentially, what decision shape does is it only compares the first record. It does not bother checking each line in your document. We only use a decision shape when we have to perform check on a single row. Now there are two ways to solve this issue. One, I can simply add a split here, split out all these 6 rows of data into individual ones and then process it. But then it would become two shapes for me to run through. It would increase upon the performance time. They will be logging for both of these shapes and then again they will take their own time to process all this information. For such cases, we have business rule. Let's just remove it. Add a business rule here. We just check salary. Now we'll have to give the profile here on which one we are performing our action. The check. I'll just select it here, accept it here, reject it. We'll go down this path. Now I'll simply click plus. I'll set check salary. Greater than 70K, something like this. I can name it. Now for the profile, we have already selected. I'll simply click on field, which field I want to perform this action for. I want to perform it for salary. I'll click on. From alias, always ensure you remove this, whatever is in the bracket. Otherwise, it would be a very long name for you to utilize. Click on. Now I can add my condition here, salary. And these are if the salary is greater than equals to, I'll choose again static. I'll enter my value. In case of error, let's skip error part for now. Just check with this and see how it waves now. Let's just run the test. Let's see why it did not send anything here. Regardless, the result was true. Let's simply open our CSV file and see what is the data type on it. It is number. Let's change the business role a bit. Let's see if this makes any difference. Let's add an error message. Let's zoom it to 80 by 11,000. Let's see if why did it fail. This was true. It still failed. Looks like some kind of bug, which I will check later. When we are giving like making the season. Here the 70,000 is in a double quotes like it will consider, like this consider it has failed. Because of that, it is not able to compare. Oh no, that does not happen. We can check this. If that is the case, no, we will see that 1 second. If that is happening, it simply add like a decisionship. We'll choose a profile element. We'll go back. We'll choose a field. Click on. Now it's disconnected. We'll add a split. Now initially you would not know like about this. We'll just split it. Split by line. Remove us. Retain first line as column headers. This is how we're performing your split action. We'll choose what kind of profile type it is. We don't need to select the profile here. We are simply splitting it line by line, basically, and keeping the first line as column headers in each one. We'll split. I'll say split. Let's see what action is happening. Click on this. Check salary. I'll run the test. Now, if you see, the action is happening. But the problem is, as I explained previously, we have now two shapes on which the action is being performed. Now, if I come back here to the issue about this action was not happening. You were about that. It is basically because of this data type issue. It considers it as a character. How do we fix that? We fit. Instead of, performing a direct comparison, what I will do is I'll create a function where I'll be performing this check basically. We have this option of, creating user defined functions in Boomi where you want to perform these kind of checks. I would simply name it as user defined function. And I would say check salary. My input would be my salary. Now let's see how we can do that. No, cannot. It does not have all this. What I can do is use a custom scripting. I can use either Groovy script or JavaScript. Again, I'll select my input for it. Something like, salary. I'll add an output of flag. Basically, I just want to have a flag. I will write my script. I'll click on Edit. If salary is greater than. Let's see if this works. Flag goes to. Flag equals to 0. Now if I take this mapping and if I just simply create an output of flag, let's save this. Now I need to map my input salary to my profile element salary. It is mapped. If I come out here, this is mapped. I'll remove this condition. I'll add a condition here. UDF check salary. If it equals to 1, essentially salary is greater than 1 or check has passed. Let's see if this works or not. Now we are seeing here. I'll put flag 1 value 1. It passed. Check passed. Check passed. But this failed. Now let's come back here. Change the data type to character. Let's just play around and see what happens when we are playing around like this. I'll save it. I'll click on test. Let's see. It still failed. Now, how do we fix this kind of issue? We'll again go back and check our profile for all this field. We'll again change it back to number. We can go around. Looks like there is some bug. Let me check this later a little. Why this is happening? It should not be happening. I'll come back with this later. Why did that happen? Because ideally it should be accepted. We'll figure it out in some time. This is how you perform this kind of decision check. Now that was about this. Let's come back to this one later in user-defined functions. Let's come back to our map here. Now you have all these kind of actions. You're performing string concatenation addition. You can either create all this here straightforward, or you can create in a user-defined function as well. All of these functions essentially. If you have your complex logics, if you have to do multiple level of checks or 2 or 3 custom scripting or lookups, you perform it using these user-defined functions where you can add multiple steps. Basically, That is the use case. Any questions for? Getting in the flow of designing, being quick with everything, and having the practice. I would say focus a little more on practice slowly. Go ahead. You're trying to add a message, ship for the data. I think you're speaking mute. Yes, I'm trying to look for a connector. You see this blue icon? Below the in process here, click on it. You can add a message, ship here. Which connector do you want to add? I'm going to add a message. You can just drag this here. You can paste the data which was shared. No, and I think they would have sent it to you last. It will just give you this node. Let it load. Open meeting node. You can copy paste this. You just go control. Another field is missed. Instead, can you do a controller employee ID is missed? Just before first name, type employee ID in the first line. That's perfect. Click. That's fine. Now you can connect the start ship and message ship first. Perfect. Now you can add the XML file. Also, you have added XML profile already. I have just added CS3. Now you can open up a map ship. You can just type in CSV to XML conversion. What I need to do next? Now you need to create a map. Click on the plus sign. Now for the left side, which is your source, you can select your CSV file. Select flag file. Your CSV is your flag file. Select the CSV employee. Now for the destination, click on Choose. I have not created. It will allow you to create from here as well. Go to. Now you see this plus sign. You can create here as well. Click on Scroll down. You can create it manually. Now you can name this employees. Now you can add another element inside it on the left side. Left navigation pane. Just one element, add a child element, single one. You can name it employee. Employee or employee ID. No, just employee. Now, inside this employee, insert multiple child elements. Perfect. Now you can name it as employee ID and everything these elements. You don't need to change any of this information. You can just give it name rather than first name and last name. Department, job title, salary, these three. Now you can just save this profile. You can just name it. This name is it. XML profile, you can rename it. Saving clothes. Now you can expand all. If you click on the CSV employee, you just need to rename it once. Open the flat file as CSV employee, go up. Just open it. If you expand it, click on the plus sign. Just correct the spelling of employee ID. After Y, there is an extra O. Remove this. Now go to Options. We need to use column headers because the file I gave you has column headers. You know first row is that names and all. Also, it is comma delimited. Change it to comma delimited. No, perfect. Just you can save this. Save and close. Now you can map all these fields once. You can map employee ID to employee ID. If you manually don't want to do it, there is another method which you can try. Click on that Boomi Suggest. Click on Next in the below. Sidebar. On this window, there is Next. Click on it. Like this, you can match it. Click on Next. You can uncheck these two. Perfect. You can finish it. Now, what did it for you? It automatically mapped your employee ID to employee ID, department to department. Now, since it could not find job and job title, you can map it manually. Initially, I would say practice mapping it one by one, that you get hands on and get used to it. For automatic mapping, the name should be same. Otherwise, for a few fields, if the name is not same, you can just select there in the drop down. It will ask you option if it finds something relevant to it. There you can select. When you have like 100 fields or like 120 to 100 fields, in that case you use that. Direct mapping. Having closed. Yes, save and close. Now add a stop shape, connect the map shape and everything. Let's see what happens. It's a stop. It's not connected yet. Simple way to learn to connect is take that arrow, drop it over that shape. Simply, it will automatically simply connect it out. You can now save it. Not close, keep it open. You see this last icon before save and close. Click on it. Click. Change it to Test Cloud. Name it as Test Dev or something. Anything is fine. Anything else for your convenience, just try to click. What you're doing is you're creating a server for you to run this. We are practicing it all in cloud. We're not going for a local on-premise setup. We're not doing that. Just leave it like that. Perfect. You can click close. In the drop-down, you need to select your server on which you want to run it. Test item is clicked. Now let's see what happens. You're able to run it or not. Perfect. That is working now. If you check your step source data, you will be able to see your data. If you click on any of it and open it, perfect. It is working. Now come back at it. Come back out of the test mode by click on that left icon. Before process, now open the map. You can just click on new map. Click on the edit icon, pencil icon towards. Now you can expand both sides again. You can play around for the department, remove the mapping. Just uncheck it. You can leave it there itself. it will come back automatically. In your function, you can add another function to play around. Click on plus, go to string, cat it. Let's do it to string to upper. Click, which would all the string here. No, this is like a default value in case if no data is coming. Whatever value you pass here like XYZ. In case of no data, it will assign XXYZ to your target field basically. Now you can map department to original string and this result to the side department. Not from the dot, from the name, result basically. Perfect. You can come to the process. Click. Just click on the test icon again. Run test. You can just click perfect. Now you see what is the value, changed value for department. You can directly check at the stop ship. You see everything is changed to a purpose. That is about all this. This is how you can practice out different functions on it. For now. Just a minor correction to the before. There was this issue I was facing with the business rule. We have to split up at a split function. Regardless, it is business rule. The only difference is decision shape will only vary from the target field we verify first row. Whereas in business rule it will verify everything. But if we do not split it, it will send down everything down the rejected path, basically. And here you can only perform one check. Whereas in business rule you can have multiple roles set up. That is its advantage over a decision shape. Makes sense. Am I only the one who is not able to see the screen or anyone else also? I don't know. As I was saying, the difference between a decision shape and business rule is it only allows you one comparison in decision shape. Whereas in business rule, you can set up multiple conditions. Like this, you can go on adding multiple rules to be checked. That is the difference. Otherwise, you will have to add split in both conditions. Now let's add this. Have you not had your entire screen? Because I can see only the home page. No entire screen is shared. I were able to see. I didn't see the whole screen. Do you please check your network? I will check. Let's just tweak this data a bit. And our job title. Let's take this whole thing here. Go to a session. It's here. Department. Let's make it engineering. Let's remove all of it. Make it another engineering. Let's make it engineering. Copy paste. Add this. Now we have 3 from engineering department and 3 other from different departments. Now I want to add another check, where I check if department is engineering. I like the field. Add a condition. Department equals to static. Let's go here. Let's copy this. Department equals to engineering. Now let's see what happens. If you see, there were 2. First checkpoint which we added was of salary should be greater than 70,000. And another one is department is engineering. If you look at data, first one matches this condition where salary is greater than 70,000. First one matches this condition where salary is greater than 70,000. Salary is greater than 75,000. Next another. Which one? This one also matches the first condition. Check where salary is greater than 70,000. But if you see, only one came across because we had set up another check of department being engineering. Only one got satisfied which has both. The department is engineering and the salary being above 70,000. This way you set up, multiple rows like this. That is about this. Now you are doing all this. By mistake, you don't want to again. You're very ahead in your integration, but you realize this is a mistake. You do not want to use this. You want to roll back to a previous revision, even in this dev mode. But again, going back, adding all that shapes, decision shape, or they were, if 3, 4 shapes, it will be a very long headache. How you can do that, or maybe suppose you were, getting your code some other developer from your team. He came to check something, but by mistake, he clicked somewhere. He disconnected something or made some human error of typing in some letter in a connection or something. To roll back in such scenarios comes in very much handy revision history. This allows you to check whenever you click on Save. and line item would be added here under revision history. It allows you to see at what time it was added and everything and by whom. If I go back to my first session or second session, I want to roll back to this. I'll come here. I'll click on lock and edit. It will ask me if I want to edit it. Discard this and reload. Let's see what happens if I click on edit selected revision. Now I'm able to modify it here. If I save this, it will override my current revision. That is the use case of this revision history. That you can see who did what. Any questions about this? Let's continue with the basic practice for today. We'll not deep dive much. Now you can add a data process to first split your records. Just give it name is split or something. Always practice this habit of giving some meaningful name. It will be easier later when you check logs and everything. Click on plus sign. In the processing step, from the drop-down, select Split Documents. It's a flat file. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, split by line. You can say retain first line as column headers because we have checked that information. Click. Now add a business rule. Well, that's fine. You can add it. Just give it a meaningful name like check, salary, or something. Perfect. Go ahead. Click. Is it? Can I click on? Go ahead. Now create a new rule. Click on Inputs. First, we need to add input for our rule. Add field. Is the field first? You can select. Click on the plus sign. Choose salary or something, whatever you want to perform action upon. Click again. Scroll down a little. You can click on. Now in alias, you can remove that record part. Click. Now add a condition. Can't. Just click on add a condition, not add a group. You need to be careful when you're selecting all this. Drop down select salary. You can select the operation is greater than anything. Here, you can give any value of your choice in below. Scroll below. Left side yes. Enter any number without commas. Perfect. You can save it. Click on. It doesn't work. That's fine. It over. You can click on. Now you can connect all this before map ship. Disconnect the message ship and no, after message ship all this will come in. Because in the message is where our entry point of data is. Off. You want to perform all this. You can copy the stop sheet. Paste it near rejected. For pasting, just click. Do a left mouse click. Left click, not click. No, you can test and see. You can. Looks like everything got rejected. Can you? One of the data. Let's see. Can you close this? Come out of this test mode. In the business rule, you are seeing that written CSV underscore employee in the blue icon. With the just click on it. It will directly open your profile. Expand the elements in left side. Click on the plus sign. Go to salary. Scroll down in it. In the number format, add a hash. Just give it. There is implied decimal. You can make it 0. We don't have any decimal places. You can just save it. Just go up one. In That's fine. Now can you run test? Let's see. Now it worked. Then why it is showing all of this green around? Rejected. Why is it showing green around? Rejected. Go to the split data. Here only. Open up step source data. Open this document. If you see, some of them have salary less than 60,000. One of it last one. That is why one profile came to this. Some pass your business rule, some fail your business rule. Basically, that is why. To one thing, let's play around a little more with this. Go to CSV employee. Go to option. Remove this check. Use column headers. Just save it. If they run the test one, and let's see what happens. If you miss that, you can just click on that back a left arrow button before process always. It will bring you out of test one. Now just click on test. If you see what is this error, let's see. It says it could not pass your this information because it assumes salary and everything you know all these fields to be. It is unit to be a number. We did not specify it as it is. You know that it's a header. If you close it and come out of the test, you see, if you click on logs, this is all you will be able to click on. That scroll down towards. There is details. You see a search icon. The below search icon, you click on that. This will show you your error. Always usually look at the top. Do not look at below information that is like general Java JavaScript in general information. It will always tell you exactly what field if you look at the starting one. There are passing numbers salary. If you look at the second line, that will explain your error. Now you can close it. Now you can come out of test mode. From the left, now go to split data shape. Here in split documents, click on that split document action. In the side, scroll down. You see there is this header options. What we can do is remove first line as column headers. Click. Now save it and just click test. Let's see if it will work now or not. It worked. If you look at check salary, business rule, step source data. There are two things to observe here now. Directly, your data is coming. You are not getting, all that rows like before. Employee ID, first name, last name, department, job title, salary, all that information is gone. And if you close this documentary, previously because of that size was 10 KB here. But there is a question. But we have applied like comparing condition on that salary. How it can be successful. We applied at its position. Noted that salary name. Identify first. For that position only, we are applying like for fifth position, whatever value is present, it will perform a comparison for that. Now the use is obvious. Your size is reduced, for your testing purpose or performance purpose. Logging purpose for the data size. That is how we go without using column header names. Initially, you can use it, go ahead. But at a later stage, you can start removing it out slowly that without it you can learn to play around and keep it like a little faster. That is about all this. Now as your activity for the weekend, open. Just in Google you can type Boomi map functions, type that. Boomi map functions. This is for everyone. Map function components. You scroll down. Let me give you the link for it exactly. Let me know if you're able to. You're able to open this link. I just pasted in chat. Also sharing another one. Practice out these two over this weekend and just read up on, Boomi shapes. And this build up, try to build up some kind of logics with business rule or decision shape. Just play around with the data in the file a little. That is your task. All of this read through these functions. These are like, they've been explained it very well with the examples. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.